Good day to you. Today is Father's Day. Before that, I want to do something on fathers, champions, and how they win the world for their kids and family. Before that, I want to do a very quick COVID update. China reports a second wave. And there seems to be activity, they are closing down divisions and so on. Now, of course, we know the WHO has been predicting a second wave. So when China says there is a second wave, they are saying that this virus is older than the COVID-19, and this is from salmon in Norway. And Norway has protested about this, and I thought all the salmon in Norway said we are utterly innocent. Just the way all the bats in Wuhan said we are utterly innocent. So this saga continues, the drama continues. They were predicting a second wave. They said it will come to Africa, it will come. In UK itself, numbers are going down. In many European countries, they are back to school and they are going on okay. So what is the second wave? Now, I have done this before, that the shutdown did help to protect the vulnerable communities. Now, world over, it is proven that giving vitamin D and zinc supplements at least will cut down the severity of the infection. Backing up this second wave theory, so second wave gives credence to the fact that urgently a vaccine is necessary. So we are concerned that the Wuhan had CoV-2 firstly, and now Professor Luke Montagino, the professor who described HIV virus, has clearly said that this is a virus made by molecular tools. Professor Luke Montagino, who got the Nobel Prize for HIV virus. Besides that, many have said this is a virus made with molecular tools or genetic engineering. We also know the history that gain-on-function virus research was shifted from CDC USA by Dr. Fauci to Wuhan. That is on all virology platforms. And now we know that satellite images show that there was increased hospital activity and car parks are full in Wuhan in 2019 November. And the data shows that the province had 1.3 million patients of influenza in 2019 December, whereas 2018 December, the province had only 135,000 cases of influenza. So obviously from November, December of 2019, some virus activity was going on in Wuhan. To this is added, so moment you say second wave has started, and this was a prediction all the time, the second wave, moment you say second wave has started, people get scared and they expect a terrible consequence. So what will happen with this second wave? Will it also get exported like the first wave? Why is this great interest in the second wave? Because to validate the vaccine, the second wave has to come. So those who did the first wave, whether to get the vaccine made, produced, and given to all global citizenry, and put surveillance on all global citizenry with a digital chip which is also ready. Vaccine people also do digital chips. It is also ready to say, you got the first virus, second virus, Italian virus, Spain virus, Middle East virus, so the justification for the digital chip is that there are many viruses and that they may on their own gain on function and become more virulent. Actually, the Imperial College of London has done studies over 31 different strains and there is no increase of virulence. In fact, when a virus is made in the lab like CoV-2, what will happen is there will be decrease of function and virulence will go down. There is science. Gain on function can happen only by molecular tooling or genetic engineering. So we know how the first virus came, but the point I am at now on the update is this agitation for the vaccine. So already AstraZeneca is making 40 million shots of the COVID vaccine before clinical trials have proved the case. Before clinical trials have proved the case, 40 million shots of vaccines are already in production. Therefore, the vaccine people seemingly are bent on and are very certain that the clinical trial will say, give the vaccine. Just the way the clinical trials were made to say hydroxychloroquine is no good. This sounds a story, this sounds a script that is being enacted with the help of medical journals and reputed institutions. So when Lancet produced an article citing 96,000 database, and then the article is not only wrong, also is fraudulent, and they have to do a retraction. Now those who don't know, when a medical journal has to do an article retraction, it's a major issue. It's not a small issue. People lose trust in any medical publication thereafter because all the gold standard things were there. Random, placebo control, multi-center, 5 continents, peer-reviewed, all that stuff went into that article, and then it becomes Lancet Gate. Then the recovery trial is done by Oxford, and they use a massive dose of hydroxychloroquine on very ill patients. So the control group, they were already advanced in disease, and the control group death rate was 24.3%. And in the patients that ventilators were used in the recovery trial, death rate was 41%. That is 2 out of 5 patients died. The world over, the intensive care unit, the death rates have been 14%. So what did recovery trial do to get a death rate of 41%? So these questions are being asked. You need to read the conservativewoman.com website by Kathy Ginger, and she does excellent drug reporting. And also the French magazine, French newspaper France Soil, who interviewed Dr. Langray, deputy leader or the deputy lead person of the recovery trial, and whose interview was this way, that way. And when you stop the hydroxychloroquine arm, and then you do a public interview on it without peer-reviewed journal reporting, and then dexamethasone is tried, and it is considered a wonder drug for COVID, those who have been in any kind of medicine will laugh at this. Why? Dexamethasone is who's who for everybody. Any dire situation with a cytokine storm, you don't need a recovery trial done by Oxford to know. Dexamethasone will reduce death rate. It will be effective for the cytokine storm in any situation. And then the lead editor, Dr. Peter Hobbs, has a BBC interview with Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, claiming they have got a wonder drug. This is not science, this is drama, this is play acting, this is entertainment. Because for one, Vermont University Medical School has been giving prednisolone very scientifically and in a titrated dose. They said give prednisolone by the 5th day, stop in 3 days time, because you reduce the cytokine storm, but you have to stop the prednisolone soon. Prednisolone, dexamethasone, they work the same way. You need to stop the prednisolone soon, because in the inflammatory immune cascade, second part is pro-resolver, specific pro-resolver molecules, the SPMs, are needed in the immune cascade to modulate it. Now, prednisolone will stop that dose. So the better drug is tocilizumab, which has been given in many centers, Virginia Medical School and so on. So when recovery trial was designed, they didn't try hydroxychloroquine with zinc according to the Zelenko regime, or they did not try hydrocortisone with azithromycin according to Professor Raoult-Dieter's regime. They just tried hydroxychloroquine alone on very ill patients, just to prove the point that hydroxychloroquine is no good. So when hydroxychloroquine is run down by trials designed to run down, and vaccine people are getting ready to get the vaccine into everybody, This is a real story. This is not science. This is prime time TV show that's going on. But I want to shift to the Father's Day. You know, fathers are very important. Fathers of the home, fathers at school and education, fathers of professions, professional training, doctors, lawyers, senior role models, then fathers in a nation. These are all fathers. Fathers in judicial, legislature, executive. They are the people who need to foster the next generation. So there's a worldwide phenomenon of decapitating fathers. So the severe attack on any head of state and anyone in public office, you wonder who will go into public office, who will want to go into public office, because the criticism is so severe. It is like in countries where doctors are sued all the time for the slightest thing. Who will want to go into medicine? I have told this before that our country's health service did very well in the COVID infection time, and we treat our patients with hydroxychloroquine. And what else? By the way, I'm Dr. Lalith Mendis. I'm from Sri Lanka. Some of you have heard me before. My last official post was as an academic, as head of Department of Pharmacology in a state medical faculty. That's why I talk pharmacology. I'm published in PubMed and medically indexed on low aspirin, NSAIDs, Parkinson drugs, anti-epileptic drugs, migraine, irritable bowel syndrome. The article that I co-authored with my professor of medicine in the Colombo Medical Faculty some years ago is cited in over 720 journals and in 70 medical textbooks. So I gave you this background when I am speaking as I speak. That is because I also can follow medical academics. So in the recovery trial, hydroxychloroquine was made, what shall I say, it said it's no use. So when LancetGate, that article said it, WHO stopped hydroxychloroquine, then they said they're resuming. Now when recovery trial has said hydroxychloroquine is no good, again the WHO is saying they will not use hydroxychloroquine in their solidarity trial. So it is a case to be proved. Everybody is trying to prove very hard hydroxychloroquine does not work. Why is that? If a simple, effective, cheap drug does not work, you have to look for a vaccine. Before the vaccine trials are over, and Oxford is already saying it's difficult to get patients for vaccine trials, before the vaccine trial is over, they are making the flu shot, not a small amount, 40 million. And they are developing the theory that different strains, different vaccines, it must be certified with a chip. So we get back to fathers. So in professions, we need fathers who cannot be touched with money, and we had fathers like that in professions. And then home, it is said in the Lord's Prayer, we are told, your name be hallowed, your name be honored. So fathers give the name, fathers give the dignity for the child, for the young man, son or daughter. Name, honor, identity, security. So name has that. It's not only giving the surname, giving continuity, cohesion, all that is the father's work. That's why family is God's design. So there's a real attack on family, real attack on the nation. Because the nations are meant to be a family of nations. Each nation looking after its own very well. So this is the idea of the name and hallow that name. Then your kingdom come and your will be done on my patch of earth. So fathers give children authority, governance, and then fathers give children their patch of earth, their patch of earth. So they identify kids as having been capable with this amount of work, and fathers facilitate that, and fathers have to give governance. Mothers give intimacy, especially in the first 3 years of bonding, intimacy and internal life management. Fathers give confidence and how to take on the world. So father every day has to give step and stretch and confidence, how to take on the world. So father has to be there from the beginning, from before conception also, but from after age of 3, father has to give that confidence, boundary, giving the boundary and taking the boundary. Father is the one who stretched the boundary for the son or daughter. That's the role of the father. So that's the meaning of the governance and at that patch of earth. Third one is your will be done on earth as it is in heaven is the original. I'm applying it to an earthly father's role. So the father gives a will for the family direction for son, daughter, in fact even for the wife, the mission, the purpose. That's what the will is. The destiny and the destination. He tracks it. Father is the one who gives the compass. There's a father's responsibility. So if father is abdicating, child does not know which way to progress. So third one is the father being the compass, father giving the mission and purpose of family living, and that the child will have skill development. He will have a grace lot received and that to be developed, but for that there has to be direction. So father takes the child as if an arrow, the bow being the father's direction, arrow being what your son and daughter, how far he will go, how is he going, and father's care for the family is like drawing the bow and keeping the direction, keeping aim, keeping focus, keeping salience. All this that has to do. So that let your will be done. It means aim and direction, destiny and destination. The fourth point I like to touch is give us this day our daily bread. So when the dad gives the daily bread, means physical safety, physical security and food security. To that we may add home security, clothes security, shelter security. That sense of security makes the child feel I am provided. He does not become a rebel. Putting it differently, when the child's those need boundaries are not met, violated, child becomes a fighter. He feels I have to fight for everything. So from the child's attitude orientation before the age of 5 is all done and dusted. He has got it from his parents before the age of 5, before going to school. So dad and mom, but today we are speaking to dad, you have to take on your child's that sense of physical safety. Physical provision is not only giving food, where he falls asleep, and all that should be safe and secure. That it's your responsibility. Pardon me if I sound as if I'm loading you too much, but if dads fail, the world will fail. World's failure can be traced to the dad. That is sociological investigation or research. I like to, I can say, please write to us on our WhatsApp, +94 77 49 59 214. I can send you real original research on these lines. I want to recommend to you Kasi Carsten's book, World Needs a Father. Kasi Carsten was the coach, or the chaplain. He was a well-known rugby coach in South Africa. He was the chaplain of the World Cup winning South African team, the rugby team, on which the Invictus film is based. You need to read his book, World Needs a Father. So the fourth point is, give us this day our daily bread. How food safety, physical safety is what that makes the child shallow, well provided, well looked after. He doesn't become a fighter. So any hunger pang develops a fighter, a rebel. I didn't get what I should have got, I'll bite anybody's hand. That's how it goes. The fifth one is forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. So Father is the one who models forgiveness. So Father is the one who shows the child, when I am wrong, he says, forgive me. My mom and me, we fought each other in front of you, forgive us. Now that should not happen, but if it happens, you model for the child forgiveness. You model for the child how to check back, look back and say sorry. To take stock of what you did, to own your error rather than hiding the error or blame shifting. Then you have to model it. This is called mistake management. So we teach them not to right wrongs, but to right wrongs. Right wrong is W-R-I-T-E, right wrong. RIGHT, right wrong, is show the son way to go right. So the way you correct is not retributive justice, you did this wrong, I'll whack you. No. Then you are affirming, you get him to remember how he did it wrong and that there's punishment for it. Then he will either avoid getting caught or he will say, okay, I do wrong and I pay atonement, but that hits me. So I have paid the punishment, so I'll do anything and I'll pay the punishment, I'll get away with it. Now that's not the way to go. You sit with your son and show him redemptive justice or restorative justice. Son, that was not right, that was wrong, that was pain, but let me show you the right way. That is what I mean by right, wrong, RIGHT, wrongs. Don't keep saying you did that day, you did this that day. Then that is you are righting the wrong. WRITING, you are recriminating and incriminating the same thing over your son's life. We shouldn't do that. So that is how we take on this thing. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. So we learn how to handle people who go against us, insult us, hostile to us. You have to teach that as part of your paternal management system. So sin is falling short of a standard, iniquity is going crooked, transgression is breaking a law, trespass is stepping into other people's rights. So you can sexually trespass. You get the point? Sin is falling short of a standard. Iniquity is something inside us makes us go crooked. That needs to get right. Transgression is against law, breaking the law. Trespass is violating someone else's boundary. All these things that you need to discuss with your son, daughter when they are passing 13. At the age of 13, hormones in functioning, not only that, brain tracks adjust in a certain way. You have to quickly get them through that portal of adolescence before they start experiments. Every experiment deepens the impression. That's the thing. So you have to get it, try to get it right for your son and daughter fairly early. There's the fifth point. Sixth point is lead us not into temptation. This has to be clearly defined. The whole internet is full of different kinds of sexual innuendos and other innuendos. Then that you can get away without getting caught. Then everybody is doing it. So that you have to clearly define the boundaries. And when they go out, batch party or whatever, you have given the laws, you have said this, that and the other. When they go out, what ultimately the limit is the embrace of your arm. They remember, Dad embraced me, I had to live within that embrace. If you can add to that God the Father's embrace, that's fine. So there is an embrace, you embrace him, the hug and the tug. So power may be on the wrong side, but God is on our side. The way the vaccine industry is moving, way viruses are being made and health being sold. We are used to fashion being sold. We are used to sex being sold. We are used to gambling being sold. Different things being sold. Sold good, the bad, the ugly. All those shut down during COVID time, of course. Now we are seeing health being sold. And to sell health, you have to first cause ill health. And academics have changed over the past 20 years so drastically. Whom can you trust is what you need to ask. So it is good to be educated these days. So sixth point I make is take care of the temptations your kid will face. Anticipate them. So what are temptations? Things that come from inside you and hook you up. So there is a hook inside and another thing outside. In similar, our language, there's a very good expression. There's a cocker inside and the kicker comes from outside. The enticer comes from outside. The kicker, and the inside you, this two gets entangled. So you need to discuss that with your kids. Last one, and quickly will be done, seventh one, is deliver us from evil and the evil one. The point I make is just as much as there is an author of good, there's an author of evil. And it is really terrifying in a sense how much stuff is intentionally thrown on the digital screen. So it is intended that the digital trailers from an adult age come into your child's age group. You have blocked it and all that, but the trailers come. Not the whole thing, the trailers come. Then he's enticed and he's stepped up and he's stimulated to ask for more of the wrong thing. That is just one example of how evil gets manufactured. So that's about the talk I have for you today. We'll join again another big day. Thank you.